Hi, I'm Dr. Asif Nawaz, Junior Surgical Resident and the lecturer in anatomy. Today I'm going to make a new video regarding the important organ, that is liver. So here you can see the liver, which is the largest gland of our body. It has both exocrine functions and endocrine functions. This is the large gland. Liver is the largest gland of our body. So it is reddish in color and slightly shiny. You can see the shiny membrane which is covered by the Glissen's capsule, which is a covering of the liver, and it has a very small, it is very small in the intrauterine life, like 150 gram only, but in the adult life, in case of male, it is about 1.4 to 1.6 kg in case of male, and in case of female 1.4 to 1.2 to 1.4 kg. So it's quite heavy. So the liver, which is situated in the peritoneal cavity, it lies mostly in the hypochondrium, right hypochondrium, and the partly epigastric, here in the right hypochondriac region, partly epigastric and partly in the lumbar region also. So as you see, the liver has 5 surfaces and 3 borders. Okay, so as a surface is the right lateral surface, it is a superior surface, anterior surface, and the posterior surface and inferior surface. So posterior surface is totally retroperitoneal. There is no peritoneal collections, like here. This is the inferior surface of the liver. This is the inferior surface, and this is the posterior surface. So where the posterior surface is, here you can see the posterior surface. It is the posterior surface. Posterior surface is nothing but some ligaments and the bare area. This is the posterior surface. This is the superior surface, this is the inferior surface. That means here, this is the inferior surface, and this is the anterior surface, this is the superior surface, and this is the right lateral surface. So surface demarcation is very important in case of surface anatomy or gross anatomy. Okay, so now the relationship of the peritoneal. So anterior, superior, right lateral and inferior whole are the peritoneal area, except the posterior surface, which is non-peritoneal. Now here you can see some ligaments, like here in the anterior surface, which is divide the liver into 2 area anatomically. So this is the right lobe of the liver, and this is the left lobe of the liver, which is divided by the ligament, which is called the falciform ligament. And this is the round ligament, that means ligamentum teres of liver, which is obliterated left umbilical vein, forming the free border of the falciform ligament. Okay, so it is sometimes asked as a MCQ that the ligamentum teres is the structure which is derived, because it is nothing but obliterated left umbilical vein, because in case of children or newborn, that left umbilical vein was intact, but when this vein is collapsed, and that vein becomes ligamentum teres or the round ligament. So this is the right lobe and this is the left lobe. So there are Many other ligaments also present in the liver, like the triangular ligament, the bare area which is surrounded by the coronary ligament, and also ligamentum venosum. So these are the accessory support of the liver. So liver is a heavy organ, but how it present in the upper abdomen? How? So that liver must be stand stood by some support. The greater or the mostly important support of the liver is the hepatic vein, which lies posteriorly, which is directly enter into the inferior vena cava. So you can see here this is the inferior vena cava, group for inferior vena cava. So here there is a fossa for hepatic vein, which is directly attached with the liver. So inferior vena cava will give supply also and make a support of the liver. There are other ligaments. You can see the ligamentum venosum, ligamentum teres, which is go to the anterior surface also and forms a falciparum ligament, and this is the ligamentum venosum. Here you can see there is a inferior coronary ligament, and this is the triangular ligament in case of left side, and here you can also see the right triangular ligament from the right side, and there is two coronary ligament, superior and it is inferior, another one is superior coronary ligaments. So these ligaments, here the superior coronary ligament, this is the inferior coronary ligament, and this is the right triangular ligament, and this is the left triangular ligament. You can see here. So triangular ligament, coronary ligament, ligamentum venosum, teres, falciparum ligament, these are the accessory support of the liver. The main support is hepatic vein, which is directly connected with the inferior vena cava, that will make the great support to the liver. Okay, now the borders. There are three borders in the liver. That is, here inferiorly the sharp inferior border. It is a sharp inferior border. Remind it very clearly. And there are accessory two other borders, like posterior superior border and posterior inferior border. Where are those? This is the posterior superior border. Here the posterior superior border is it, and posterior inferior border, that means here it is the posterior inferior border. So this is this posterior superior border, and this is the posterior inferior border, and sharp inferior border. So this is three borders and five surfaces, like superior surface, right lateral surface, inferior surface, and posterior surface. Okay, that must not be forgotten. Now I'm going to show you next things, that is the lesser omentum. In case of stomach, you can say a huge peritoneal fold which is attached with the stomach. This is the greater sac or greater omentum. So all are the peritoneal part of the abdomen that we see, which is included in the greater sac. And the lesser sac, you can see that this is the liver and this is the stomach. So inner layers of the stomach and a portion of the liver, that is here it is a caudate lobe. So lesser omentum attached with the caudate lobe and the lesser curvature of the stomach, and in between those there is a peritoneal reflection, a peritoneal fold, which is called the lesser sac. Okay, lesser sac is surgically important because in between lesser sac there is a gastric arteries like left gastric artery, right gastric artery are present in between the lesser sac, and there is also a portal triad. There is a portal triad, three important structures which will connect liver with the vascular system and the excretory supply of the liver, that is a bile, that will be discussed later. Okay, now I'm going to see some diagrammatic pictures. Here there are some relationship of the anterior surface of the liver. In case of right lateral surface, what are the relation present here? You can see these are the ribs, like 7 to 11 ribs are present just lateral to the right lateral surface. Okay, and you can see a part of the lung, that means costodiaphragmatic recess. This is the costodiaphragmatic recess of pleura and the diaphragm. Okay, right dome of the diaphragm. So this is the right dome of the diaphragm, this is the pleura, this is the lung, that means part of the right lung, and the costodiaphragmatic recess of pleura are present in the right lateral surface. Okay, and what are the greenish area? This is nothing but a falciform ligament which is came from inferiorly from the ligamentum teres and the superiorly with the triangular ligament. You can see here is a left triangular ligament and the right triangular ligament in each corresponding side that present in superior surface. Okay, and anatomically liver is divided by right lobe and left lobe by the falciparum ligament. Okay, and in the inferior surface which is very sharp, that is the inferior border which is very sharp, and here the fundus of the gallbladder, there is a accessory organ that attached with the gallbladder fossa of the liver, that is a storehouse of bile which is called the gallbladder, and the fundus of the gallbladder is seen from anterior surface. Okay, so if any fluid or if any collection or abscess occurs in the liver or in the lateral aspect of the liver, so that fluid can be extracted or removed through the space in between two ribs. So in between 9 and 10 ribs is so much popular for taking any fluid from the liver, and 8 to 9, in between 8 to 9 or 7 to 8, that is intercostal space, is very much popular for removing of the pleural fluid from the pleural fluid, that is pleurocentesis or pleural fluid aspiration. So peritoneal fluid or abscess drainage percutaneously from the liver is done through this channel. So in between the 9 and 10, sometimes in between 10th or 11th. So 9 to 11 space is very necessary surgically. Okay, now the inferior surface. So these are the inferior surface and part of the posterior surface. Okay, so posterior inferior surface is wholly seen here. This is the groove for inferior vena cava. Okay, which is present posterior surface, which is present in the posterior surface. So this is the posterior surface. Posterior surface is entirely non-peritoneal because I already draw it with the pink color. So this is the non-peritoneal area. There is no peritoneal surface, and the largest area is called the Bayer area. It is called the Bayer area. So Bayer area has some clinical importance along with some another importance with the portosystemic anastomosis. because it is one of the important portosystemic anastomosis. Because in the inferior phrenic artery, that is the prime supplier to the diaphragm, and here there is a accessory capillaries from the portal system also connected with the systemic arterial vessels like inferior phrenic vessels, and here some capillaries or portal vein. These are the anastomosed with each other. That's why it is a portosystemic anastomosis area. So the Bayer area, it is non-peritoneal. Okay, so Bayer area has some boundaries, like it is the apex present in the right side, so apex must be denoted by the right triangular ligament. Base, so base, it is a basic area, so base is done by the groove of the inferior vena cava, and the upper limit and lower limit, so upper limit is done by upper coronary ligament or superior coronary ligament, and the inferior border is done by inferior coronary ligaments. So this is the boundary of the Bayer area. It must be asked in the exam sometimes. And this is also on a posterior surface, and this is the left sided triangular ligament, and this is the falciform ligament, which is start from posterior surface and goes through the anterior surface and divide the lobe of the liver and travels to the umbilicus. And a slit like non-peritoneal part goes to the inferior surface, that is, this is a part and this is the part. So it is a ligament, that is ligamentum venosum, and this is the portal triad. So it is the portal triad. You can see there are three structures like hepatic artery, portal vein, and the bile duct. Okay, common hepatic duct or the common, okay, yes, common hepatic duct. So hepatic artery, portal vein, common hepatic duct. So in together this is called the portal triad. So this is the main entry or outdoor of the liver. So everything that goes to the liver and comes outside the liver is done by the portal triad. So it is the entry and outing point of the liver. Like we all know, the superior mesenteric artery and inferior mesenteric artery that will divide into their capillaries and forms the superior and inferior mesenteric vein. So superior mesenteric vein and inferior mesenteric vein, that will connect ultimately as a portal vein. That will be discussed in the vascularity lecture. So here you can see the ligamentum venosum, and this is the ligamentum teres. Okay, so ligamentum teres is a remnant of umbilical vein, remnant of paraumbilical vein, and the ligamentum venosum, that will helps to bypass blood in the intrauterine period as a fetoplacental circulation. There will be a lecture of my fetoplacental circulation in the later on. I will make a brief discussion about the ligamentum venosum, their origin and their exit, or when it obliterated, how it becomes a new one. That will be discussed later. So this is a ligamentum venosum, this is the teres. So what are the relation surrounding there? So this is a accessory another lobe, it is called the caudate lobe. Caudate lobe is very important for MCQ because it is another important lobe which can be visibly anatomically, that is caudate lobe. In the right side, caudate lobe is surrounded by or bordered by the groove of inferior vena cava. In the left side is called ligamentum venosum. Superiorly is the non-peritoneal area, and inferiorly the portal vein or the portal triad. So these are the boundary of the caudate lobe, and there is a quadrate lobe, another quadrangular lobe present anatomically, which present here. This is the quadrate lobe. Quadrate lobe is surround in the right side as a fossa for gallbladder. So gallbladder situated also a non-peritoneal area which is called the gallbladder fossa. So gallbladder lies on the gallbladder fossa. So gallbladder, that is anterior wall, fundus, neck, everything are peritoneal except the posterior wall which is non-peritoneal. So in case of quadrate lobe, the right sided, which is bordered by the gallbladder fossa, in the left side is called the ligamentum teres. So maybe it is a mistake, it will be ligamentum teres. So ligamentum teres, that will present here, and this is the quadrate lobe, this is the caudate lobe, this is the left lobe, right lobe. Now there are some borders and impressions present in the inferior surface. Here the esophagus goes posterior to the left lobe. Okay, so when the thoracic part of the esophagus will cross the diaphragm and enter into the peritoneum, that will form the abdominal part of esophagus. So abdominal part of esophagus lies on this relation, that will lies posterior to the left lobe of the liver, and the rest of the portion is the gastric area, gastric impression. That means the greater curvature, lesser curvature along with the fundus and the part of the body will allied or lied with the gastric impression. In case of right side, there are some renal impression, colic impression. So this is the renal impression. So with this relationship, the right kidney, upper pole of the right kidney is allied with the renal impression, and slight inferiorly there is a colic impression. So right colic flexure or the hepatic flexure, so it is also called the colic impression. So colic impression, so what structure lies here? So that is hepatic flexure or the flexure in between ascending and the transverse colon. So that flexure will lies here, so that's why it is called the colic impression. So ascending in between ascending colon and transverse colon, that is also hepatic flexure or the right colic flexure allied with the colic impression. Okay, that is all about the inferior surface. So you already know that gallbladder present in the inferior surface, portal triad, and but not the inferior vena cava, because inferior vena cava lies in the posterior surface. This is the posterior surface, this is the inferior surface. Okay. Now the vascularity. Okay, this is the portal triad or where the three structures, that is hepatic artery and the portal vein, like the hepatic artery and the portal vein and the common hepatic duct. Okay, so together this is called the portal triad. So I already told you that it is the entry and output point of the liver. So liver is entirely blocked and not taking any blood supply from the surrounding area, and the hepatic vein which is directly entered into the inferior vena cava, so it is the prime support. So by these 2 points liver is supplied. So portal vein, that will formed by the superior mesenteric vein and the splenic vein, that will reunited to form portal vein. And hepatic artery proper, which is come from the common hepatic artery of the celiac trunk. And a common bile duct, bile is a excretory output or product of the liver that will helps in fat digestion. So bile is produced from the liver and which is collected from the biliary channel like greenish area. These are the biliary channels which is formed by the different area of the liver and which is collected by the biliary channels, and ultimately that will become the common hepatic duct and that will enter into the intestine for digestion and absorption. But liver is supplied by the hepatic artery. So liver itself supplied by the hepatic artery, and the portal vein, that is most important, which is a venous system that will carry at least 80% of the blood that goes through the liver. So superior mesenteric vein, inferior mesenteric vein, splenic vein, that means stomach, spleen, whole intestine including small intestine and large intestine, those all venous blood will come to the portal system, that means portal vein, and that will bypass through portal vein and ultimately that will go through the hepatic vein and ultimately in the inferior vena cava towards the heart. So there are two kind of venous channel. Okay, this is also vein, this is also vein, but color is different. Like this is the systemic and this is the portal. Okay, so as a rule we have two portal system in our body. One is hepatic portal system, another is the renal portal system. So hepatic portal system is most active. All the venous blood from these organs like stomach, spleen and the intestine, they will come to the liver and make a shunt. Okay, make a shunt, and then it will go as a systemic venous system. Why it produced? Why the creators make such kind of things? Because the intestine, stomach and spleen, these are all are vital organs that are very much associated with or involved in digestion or absorptions, because the artery supply that will make oxygen and other important elements for intestine to absorb a lot of food materials. So after food materials is absorbed or from the intestine, that vitamins, minerals and the protein, lipid, fat must be absorbed or stored in the liver. So that's why primarily every food particle will come to the liver as a storage, as a metabolism, because liver is the important metabolic organ or the storehouse of our body. So excess food particles are like carbohydrate, lipid, protein, everything will be stored in the liver when it is necessary. In case of starving condition, in case of stressful condition, it will convert into the molecular form of food particles that will supply to the cellular level. That's why to make it station of the food particle or the other important elements like drugs, like toxic substances, like the protein, immunoglobulin and also some RBC, that will all make storage, excrete or detoxification functions that all occurs in the liver. That's why it is all of the one of the protective function of our body, that excess amount of drug or medication that will be detoxified or neutralized in the liver by the portal system. Okay, So portal system, that's why it is very much necessary, because we need these elements so that we can make ourselves feeded and also protect the body from the chemical substances, some medications and the side effect of medications, and also some toxic substances that present in the body that must be removed by the detoxification function of the liver. That's why portal system is present here. But liver itself consists of a numerous hepatocyte. That means liver must live like the other organs. That's why hepatic artery is present. So hepatic artery will give 20% of blood, and portal vein will deliver 80% of blood. There are some peritoneal reflection surrounding the liver. Here this is the transverse section of the liver, transverse section. So here is the part of the stomach that we can see as a transverse slit. This side is called the lesser sac, lesser curvature. Okay, this is a lesser curvature, this is the greater curvature. So lesser curvature is attached with the caudate lobe of the liver. So lesser omentum will attach with the caudate lobe of the liver. So here this is the two folds of lesser omentum. This is the lesser omentum of two folds, which is attached to the ligamentum venosum, and this is the caudate lobe. So caudate lobe is the main attachment of the lesser omentum. Okay, and posteriorly you can see the inferior vena cava in the groove of the inferior vena cava, present in the groove of the inferior vena cava, and part on the posterior surface you can see the bare areum, and the peritoneal relation present in the anterior surface of the stomach. Then in the right side it will become lesser omentum, then it covers the whole liver, and it will continue as a falciform ligament, then it will ultimately attached with the diaphragm. But the bare area is a non-peritoneal, that's why there is no peritoneal reflection here. And in case of in this part you can see the longitudinal incision done through the midline. So you can see the part of the falciform ligament. It is the falciform ligament which is attached with the in between the right and left lobe, that is, it is the umbilicus. So liver is slightly attached with the umbilicus by the falciform ligament, and as it is a peritoneal reflection it will go continuously as a inferior border and ultimately in the duodenum, and in the posteriorly you can see the inferior vena cava impressions, and this is the portal vein. Okay, this is the portal vein, and there in between portal vein and inferior vena cava there is a gap. Okay, it is called the epiploic foramen. So it is epiploic foramen. So we in the next class we will know what is the boundary of epiploic foramen, what is the importance of epiploic foramen. And here you can see there is another important surgical topic, that is a gap. Okay, like this is the liver and this is the gallbladder, this is the kidney, suprarenal gland, that is here is the suprarenal impression, colic impression. So in case of right side, that is in the inferior surface and the upper pole of the kidney, suprarenal gland forms a gap or peritoneal fold. Okay, this is a so much dependent part, it is called the pouch of Morison's or the hepatorenal pouch of Morison's. This is called Morison's pouch or hepatorenal pouch of Morison. If a person is recumbent positions or lying condition, supine positions, so any peritoneal collection will primarily collect it in the hepatorenal pouch of Morison's or the Morison's pouch. So in case of surgery, it has a clinical importance. A surgeon will place a drain here for a good drainage, or it will make the peritoneum clean, because every fluid will attached here or collected in the hepatorenal pouch. So surgeons are usually make or place a drain in the hepatorenal pouch. Now another important thing is the liver is divided another way, that is functionally. So it has some surgical importance along with some functional importance. So liver is divided by functionally in 8 segments. It is called the segment of liver, as like lung, that is bronchopulmonary segment. It's like lung. Liver is also functionally divided into 8 segment, which is count by the Roman wording 1 to 8. So if we make a imaginary plane, that is, wait for a moment, imaginary plane. So as you can see, there is a imaginary plane through the gallbladder and the inferior vena cava. The liver is functionally divided into 8 segments. 4 segments lie in the left lobe and 4 segment lies in the right lobe. They are vascularly different because their segment is individually supplied by the hepatic vein and hepatic artery. Okay, so here from the inferior surface, like 1, 2, 3 and 4 segment is present in the left lobe, and the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these 4 are present in the left lobe, right lobe. And functionally caudate lobe is 1. Okay, caudate lobe is number 1. Okay, so it must be asked in some exam, like what is the conard segment of the caudate lobe, that is number 1, and what is the conard segment of the number 4, it is called quadrate lobe. Okay, so what are the numbering system? This is called the Conard 6 segments. Okay, Dr. Conard first invented these segments, that is called the, these numbering is called the Conard segment. Okay, and the bare area is rated by number 8. So some kind of MCQ exam, sometimes from here the students is usually asked some questions like in the bare area what is the segments, in case of gallbladder what are the segments, quadrate lobe, what are these segments belong it. So this kind of question is usually asked in the exam. Now the histology, that is histological structures of the liver. So functionally, histologically, the liver is composed of hepatocyte. Okay, these are the hepatocyte. It is hexagonal in shape, that means it has 6 surface, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6. So 6 surface. So these are the hexagonal in shape. So there are numerous hepatocytes present in the liver, millions and millions, but they are connected individually by the own vascularity. Like you can see in between each hepatocyte there are some arterial connection, arterial, venous and biliary connections. So this is called the hexagonal histological structure of the liver. So as a unit, it is a hepatocyte. In centrally there is a central vein present. Ultimately, numerous central vein present in the numerous hepatocyte, and all the central vein will reunite to form a hepatic vein. So in case of liver, has three hepatic vein, that is right hepatic vein, middle hepatic vein and left hepatic vein. So all the central veins will ultimately form a three hepatic vein, that is right, left and middle, and they will reunite to form a single hepatic vein and drain in the inferior vena cava. And what is this? What are the rounded structures in the each cone or each angle of the hepatocyte? It is called the portal lobule. Okay, these are the portal canals. Sorry, the portal canal. So these are the portal canals. Okay, that present in each hexagonal area. So they are connected with each other. Okay. So in case of portal canal, there are three structures, like the hepatic artery or the branches of hepatic artery, branches of portal vein, and the branches of bile ductule. That means a channel of the member of the channel of the biliary tract. Okay, so see, these are the hepatocyte that is lies in longitudinal plane. Okay, column like. So in between two the hepatic sinusoids are present. So this is the hepatic sinusoids. Okay, so sinusoid is nothing but a combination of portal vein and hepatic artery. You can see the hepatic artery and portal vein, those two branches are united to form a hepatic sinusoid, and that will ultimately drain in the central vein. So it is the central vein. So these two arterial system will reunite to form hepatic sinusoid. Sinusoid present in between two hepatocyte. Okay, and they are also drained by the biliary channel. So these are the biliary ductule, bile ductule. Okay, those are come from the hepatocytes. So biliary canaliculi or bile canaliculi is the ultimate origin from where the bile is started or produced. Then through the biliary ductule it will ultimately drain in the bile ductule and ultimately drain as a common hepatic duct. Okay, so bile is a excretory substance which is produced from the liver cell or hepatocyte that will ultimately drain in the intestine. So in the next class, when I will make a video about the biliary apparatus, I will discuss it later. So every hepatocyte, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are multiple hepatocytes that will form a hepatic lobule. Okay, so you can see there is an imaginary triangle present in the in between 2 or 3 hepatocyte. You can see draw also here a triangle, here also triangle, triangle. So these are the hepatocyte that will collaborating each other and forming hepatic lobule. So this is the hepatic lobule, consists of some hepatocyte and portal canal and along with some portal lobule. Okay, because 3 hepatocyte will supplied by a single portal canal, that is called, it is called the portal lobule. Okay, when it is called the portal lobule, where 3 hepatocyte will centered by a portal canal, in that case this is called the portal lobule, and this is the full hepatic lobule, and 3 hepatocyte makes supplied by the portal canal form a portal lobule. Now the microstructures of the hepatocyte, because you can see that there are two layers of the hepatocyte, and this is the hepatic sinusoid that is present, because a hepatic artery and the portal vein, sorry, here hepatic artery, okay. So hepatic artery and portal vein reunite to form hepatic sinusoids, okay, that will ultimately drain into the central vein. So there are numerous structures along with the hepatocyte. This is called the Kupffer cell, okay. It is called the Kupffer cell. Kupffer cell is a mononuclear phagocytic cell. Mononuclear phagocytic cell, which will give protection of the liver. It will give protection like the other organs, like skin, like kidney, brain. So like the other organs, Kupffer cell is usually so much important phagocytic cell. They are nothing but a macrophage, okay, macrophage. And there are some greenish multiple cells also present here. These are called the biliary canaliculi, okay. So bile canaliculi, they will produce bile ultimately, and that will drain in the bile ductule. So bile canaliculi form a bile that will drain in the bile ductule. So there are two spaces present here. One is a space of Moll, and here the space is called the space of DC, okay. So this is the space of DC that present into the hepatocytes, sinusoids and the Kupffer cell. In between here, these are the space of DC and the space of Moll. So just surround the portal lobule, it is a portal lobule, so, and the hepatocyte. So in between two there is a space, it is called the space of Moll. So sometimes space of Moll is asked, okay. There are some numerous also cell like stellate cells, like Ito cells. They will make a plasma protein, they will make angiotensin or clotting factors. Liver can produce every protein because it is the important organ of protein synthesis, except immunoglobulin, because immunoglobulin is produced in the spleen, in the bone marrow, okay, but not in the liver. Other protein like albumin, like prothrombin, fibrinogen, everything can be produced in the liver, like angiotensinogen, angiotensin and erythropoietin. Sometimes they are also produced in the liver, and liver has a erythropoietic function. It will produce RBC or red blood cell. It can also produce vitamin K dependent clotting factors, helps in coagulations. So these are called the hepatic lamina, or form a multiple hepatocytes, and this is the hepatic sinusoids, okay. And this is a portal lobule, consists of portal vein, hepatic artery and the bile ductules, and this is the central canal. So that is the portion. Now you can see some biliary channels here. This is the largest sublobal vein, and then it will divide into multiple veins. Ultimately these are the central canals, they will form the central canals, okay. And this is the bile duct, and you can see the multiple bile ductule form a bile that will carry through the channel and the drain in the periportal bile ductule, that means bile ductule, and the hepatic artery that will give supply to the hepatocytes, and this is the portal vein or the branch of portal vein that will ultimately divide the central canal, and ultimately this is the central vein. Everything will there are multiple central veins from different areas of the liver and ultimately drain to the inferior vena cava. So that is all about the liver. I hope you will enjoy the class and stay continue or connected with my classes. Thank you very much for